All right, hello. Welcome to another episode of the EJB Talk Show. Today I am joined with amazing percussionist, studio lovely, Randall Chaves. How are you doing today, Randall?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing well. I'm very happy that you're on here, and I bet everyone is very stoked to see you here.
Happy
And
that you invited me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what did you get up to today?
Today, only wind ensemble rehearsal
That was the only thing you had today.
and a meeting. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting. That's like a weirdly not busy day.
Not that busy. Yeah, it was pretty chill.
Right.
Yeah. Though I do have to do stuff, but yes.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, as if people don't know, Randall is a third year now. Third year DMA student in percussion performance. And so I've known Randall since last year. And
Yes.
it's been a pleasure being in the studio with him. But
Yeah,
for you,
same.
how has this year, your third year DMA, been so far?
It's been good. I've been working on writing my proposal for the dissertation.
Right.
That's the main priority.
So you're the first DMA I've had on the show. So
Okay.
what, if you care to share, like what your dissertation's about?
I am looking at the Costa Rican marimba. It's called traditional marimba. So the Costa
Right.
Rica marimba típica.
And I get
yeah,
for
pretty
this,
much.
it's like you have to have that done by the end of your degree, essentially.
Yes, I have to have like a 100-page dissertation written down by the end of the program.
So how do you feel like? Are you?
You're running out of time.
Yeah, you're three
Yes.
quarters in, essentially.
Like, it can be extended, but my funding cuts off after 4 years.
Right. So you get
ideally.
What kind of research do you do for that? Like, do you like go out and like?
Yeah, my dissertation I will go to Costa Rica and look at how it is taught at the university level and how it's taught like in the community.
Right.
And then
comparing
compare,
it to
yeah.
North American styles.
Yeah,
so.
some other kind of stuff. So
Nice. That's
yeah.
awesome, man.
That's
I actually did
the-
not know it like that. That's
Okay.
super cool. So I want to ask you. I ask this on every episode. What is your earliest musical memory that you can recall?
my earliest musical memory.
Yeah, doesn't even have to be with like percussion or like touching an instrument. Like the first time like kind of music spoke to you and you kind of remember it's kind of stuck with you.
My cousins. So my family, a lot of them play instruments.
Okay.
They're not professional musicians, but just amateur musicians.
And they're all older cousins.
Yes, I was on the younger side. So my cousin, who was maybe like 6 or 7 years older than me, he would play snare drum next
Just
door.
snare drum.
Yeah, because he was part of this band in our high school.
Right.
It was like a band where they just play rhythms and
And this is in Costa Rica.
this is in Costa Rica.
Was that like some kind of like wind band kind of
No,
thing?
it was just percussion instruments. They would just play rhythms. Yeah.
Wow.
So-
And is that where you got your start
Um.
in playing the drums or not even?
Yes, kind of. So I would see him at some point. You know, my family, all of them play me an instrument. They say that I was very interested in playing percussion as well. So
Okay.
I just started
Just
doing
by
it.
contact of
Yeah.
what's around you.
So when I was in kindergarten, I actually joined the same band.
Right.
So and I was the youngest member.
So this is the first time you ever like touched the drums was like what, you were like 6 or something?
Yes, when I was
Wow.
like 5 or 6.
So then from then you were just like you took like an immediate interest in
Yeah. I mean, I was always interested in it, and it just happened.
Right.
At some point, just things happen from I was in this band in my high school. Then they were like, you should actually try to learn how to read music.
Like take lessons and stuff.
So they took me to the community, like a music school
Right.
in my town. From there, I learned music from a trumpet player.
Right.
To play the National Symphony Orchestra.
Interesting.
And this guy took me from that community band to the National Music Institute where I started actually learning how to play percussion. That was maybe like around 10 or 11 years old.
Right. And you just studied with him all the way through to
Yeah.
until university.
Yes.
And this is all in Costa Rica, right?
All this happened in
So,
Costa Rica.
what's that like culture of music, but even like predominantly like classical music? What's the culture of it there? Is it highly appreciated, or like is it kind of in the
It is
back?
seen as like in a positive way. Like if you play classical music, that means like you study music, so you kind of gives you some sort of authority over like your opinions and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's a
like,
weird thing.
it's considered like a high art, essentially,
Yes.
right?
So there's a lot of that.
Right.
But at the same time, I play popular music in the community band,
Right.
and I would be playing classical music in the National Institute of Music, because I did both at the same time.
Right.
For like until I was 18.
Were you playing like drum kit when you're playing like pop music, or?
No, it was like salsa, cumbia,
wow.
like dance music,
Nice.
all by ear, like just.
That's pretty sick. So like the way they kind of teach like Latin grooves.
Yes.
All that was. I'm assuming like mostly auxiliary.
Yeah,
percussion
auxiliary
instruments.
percussion and that
Wow.
kind of stuff. So I did that for some time. I was pretty much copied what this other guy who
Right.
had more experience would do, and that's how I learned, just copying.
So what's the landscape like of becoming a professional musician in Costa Rica? Like, is it something that doesn't really thrive much there?
To be honest, I don't really know, because I left
Right. Yeah.
when I was 18, when I was about to start the university programs.
Didn't you? You left when you were 18. Oh, so you didn't do undergrad there?
No,
Oh, so where did you go for your undergrad?
so it was a funny story. Like, I don't know how much should I share. So-
Share as much as you're comfortable, but don't worry about like going long. Like,
Okay.
if it's a long episode, I don't care.
No, so after I finished high school, I decided to do university and music at the same time. So I entered this university in Costa Rica, a public university,
Okay.
but not for music.
Was
I
it like?
went there to do industrial design. So
Wow.
like,
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you like just like an artsy kind of guy?
Yes.
Even all through high school.
Yes.
No other like subjects like sciences or like piqued your interest.
Maybe
like that, or-
maybe math.
Okay.
Yes, I was into math, and later on I got really interested in computer science and that kind of stuff
Right.
program, but like I never.
You see for yourself like the end goal is just like a career in the arts, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
So, after that, I was there for half a year. Then I went to the States for a summer camp.
Okay.
This is in northern Michigan. It's a place called Interlochen Arts Academy. And somehow they have a high school. And somehow they accepted me into their high school after I was already a semester into university.
In Costa Rica.
No, this is in the U.S.
Was it
northern
because
Michigan.
it didn't really like transfer like your high school education?
No, it was because of English.
Oh.
Yeah, they were
okay.
like, we're gonna sign you in as a junior because you need to improve your English.
So essentially, like you were 18, studying grade 11.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So everything already knew because from Costa Rica. I was just there to improve my English.
Right. And did it improve?
It did get better, yeah.
Okay.
Then, I ended up doing my undergrad at Oberlin
Wow.
in Ohio.
Yeah.
And from there,
And were you, when you were playing in like that high school in North Michigan, how much were you practicing, like percussion?
That's when I started practicing, I don't know, maybe 4 hours a day.
And where were you able to practice? Just like the high school facilities?
Yeah,
or-
because it was a boarding school.
Oh,
So it's a
wow.
boarding
So you could just
art
like
school. Yeah.
Okay, you just practice.
Yeah, the school has an orchestra. The school has a percussion professor.
And was it good? Like that high school had good.
Yes, has a really good reputation in the U.S.
Right. So how come? What do I want to ask here? So when you chose that, like you knew, like I want to study, like percussion.
Yes.
Further, you want to take this further, essentially.
Yes, I mean, one of the reasons why I went to the summer camp was just to give it a try, because I didn't know if I wanted to do industrial design or music. I was doing both at the same time. So I went to this summer camp, and I just like, yeah, this is an opportunity. Let's just take it and see how far I can
Right.
go. And here I am.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you enjoy your time at Oberlin?
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were first year, and like what? I guess like age-wise, you were 2 years like
2 years older,
Right.
but wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Was it like? Because from what it seems, from what like you're telling me, because this is the first time I'm hearing this, like you were never really surrounded much in like a landscape of so many musicians around me, and like the constant like in high school, like were there a lot of like musicians around you? And you
No,
were kind
like
of,
since forever, because like once I started going to the National Music Institute,
right.
this is when I was 10 or 11.
True.
They had music classes. I would take theory classes. I would take
Okay.
solfege singing,
Right.
and I would be part of like elementary orchestras and bands.
So like Oberlin was just kind of like your undergrad was kind of just like a breeze. It was just time for you to practice essentially.
Yeah, and just like playing at like a like higher level,
Right.
because like, you know, all the way through 10 to like 18 years old, I was part of this
Constantly
institute
playing.
and constantly playing.
Right.
Like it wasn't very constant. It was like every weekend,
Mhm.
but we would have concerts
Right.
once a semester.
Right.
So we have 2 concerts per year,
Right.
and that's how it was. You know.
So it wasn't a crazy like monumental shift to do an undergrad essentially. Like
No.
you felt like you already understood the practice of playing.
Yes.
percussion. Okay.
Plus, you know, going to the arts high school at Interlaken, where I was just in a boarding school, and I didn't have anything else to do.
You got
'Cause
that
the
practice
classes-
up.
Yeah, I had this mentality that I need to get better if I want to go to university.
Right.
So, and I wanted to go to like a good place,
Yeah.
because like when I went to Interlaken, let's say I couldn't play 4 mallets. Like I was very new to playing marimba. I didn't know how to play timpani.
When did you first start playing marimba? Was that in Costa Rica?
It was in Costa Rica
Okay.
with 2 mallets for the longest time.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I might have been 15 or 16 years old. I mean, it's like a decent age.
Was there any percussion instrument that was new to you in Michigan, or you kind of had some sort of experience in everything?
I had a little bit of experience, just like not for mallet playing.
I see. Okay.
So if I knew that if I wanted to get into universities, like I had to improve a lot.
Right.
Because like the summer camp, I saw a lot of kids that were younger and better than me.
And like killing it.
Yes. So I was like, I have to be at least that good to be able to.
If I
enter.
want to,
Yes.
take this further, right?
So that's why I practice a lot.
Right. And there wasn't really that much time, like things around you occupying you from not doing that.
Because
right?
it was the middle of nowhere. It's like middle of a forest, northern Michigan.
Right.
There's nothing.
So and you came on your own, right? Like you didn't have your family. Your family didn't come with you.
Came with friends.
Okay.
Yes.
But your family stayed home.
My family
Costa
stayed
Rica.
home.
I see.
There were a lot of people who spoke Spanish, a lot of people from Costa Rica as well.
Interesting.
So we became like a Spanish-speaking
Right.
group at Interlaken.
Right.
Once I went to Oberlin, then I lost all my friends, and then
Oh.
I would just speak English.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like post Oberlin, going further in your musical journey, right? You like automatically went to your master's, right? Or did you do
No,
a degree?
I took a gap year.
Okay. Was that a gap year to do another like diploma, or just like you just like chilled?
No, it was actually to the same thing. I finished my undergrad. I was like, I don't have enough credentials to like go to like a good place.
Like you don't want to rush into it if you don't feel like you have the credentials.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
like I was like, I took my senior year at Oberlin to do every single possible major performance that you could do as a soloist at
Right.
Oberlin. So I applied to like, everything except the concerto competition, because I just don't play concertos.
No. How come?
I don't know. It's not my thing. But yeah,
But how would you know it's not your thing if you haven't tried it?
I don't know. There's something about it.
Really, you don't even want to try it once?
I just know that it's not. I could potentially do it, but I don't know. I feel uncomfortable doing it.
That's okay.
So yeah, let's say like they have these concerts at the beginning and end of the year is called commencement recital and like the orientation recital, like where there are like concerts for the whole Oberlin, because Oberlin is a college and a conservatory together. So it's just like a concert for everyone. It's like a welcoming concert where
Right.
they play in this big, where the orchestra performs, and usually it's like full, it's packed.
Right.
So yeah, you know,
Who did you study with in Oberlin?
this guy named Rosen, Michael Rosen,
Okay,
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
he just retired recently, and
Oh wow.
yeah,
And it was good working with him. Like a good start, like not start, but like good like undergrad for you.
yeah, it was
So-
perfect.
So after Oberlin, you mentioned your masters after that
Yeah.
gap year. Where did you apply to? I know you went to Peabody.
I went to Peabody,
And that wasn't your first? That
It was
your
my first choice, yeah.
But where else did you apply to?
I applied to think maybe 5 or 6 places. McGill with Ayun.
Right. I wanna get to that.
I also applied to Yale, Peabody, Bard, no, Indiana University.
Who taught there?
I don't know.
You just applied there.
It was just my backup school.
Right.
It's like
And
big
Yale,
school.
Yale and Peabody had the same teacher.
Yale and Peabody
Right.
had the same teacher. Yes.
You worked with Robert Van Cise.
Robert Van Cise. Then I applied to McGill, Indiana University, and there was some another school.
Right.
Don't remember where.
But before I get to your time in Peabody Institute,
Mm-hmm.
how did you get to know of Ayun to wanna like work with her in McGill?
So she came to do a master class at Oberlin.
Really?
Yes, and I played for her.
Right.
That's how I met her, but I also knew of other upperclassmen who went to study with her at McGill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So from Oberlin, people who went to McGill to study with her.
Right. But you didn't end up working with her that early. And this is when she was
yeah.
still at McGill, so this is probably like, I guess
2013.
2013.
No, this
No.
is a little later because I graduated 2015, took a gap year 2016, so it was like 2016 to
Right.
18.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, being at Peabody, studying with Robert Van Cise for 2 years. That was 2 years,
I was
right?
there for
what
2
was
years.
What was that like? Was it just kind of like undergrad continued, or was it
No.
a shift? You feel
It was a complete shift because,
how come?
well, everybody had the same level or higher. Like when I entered Peabody, I felt like the new people were the worst, including me. Like
Okay.
everybody else was way better.
Okay, but how does that compare? How is that different to Oberlin?
Like Oberlin, like we were all like, some of them had less experience, others had more experience. So there was like a bigger range.
Right.
At Peabody, everybody was just good.
Right.
Yeah. And to the point where like if you played differently to the rest of them, you felt like you were not as good as them.
And what do you mean by differently? Like objectively, like
They all
like,
play in
not
a very
object-
similar way.
Right.
Like
And
musical decisions.
Did you subscribe to that kind of way of playing, or do you feel like you had your own way that you
I
kind
did
of
like a little mix of both.
you want to like
Yeah.
kind of have your own way and like differ
Yes.
from that, right?
But I did learn a lot about, technical stuff and like how to like play the instrument
And
from being at Peabody.
right, and being at Peabody, was that when you got that like Vic Firth thing, like playing
Yeah.
on that YouTube channel?
Yes.
Very iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was part of a project that Robert and Sykes put together with Vic Firth. We recorded a book, so like of like little etudes for kids.
And who's we? Like just like the studio?
The studio, yeah, the whole studio recorded. Each person played one piece, or something
Right.
like that. And yeah, that's how it happened.
Nice.
It was,
So does
you went.
everyone from that studio like has their own video up essentially, or
Yes.
Nice.
Some people have, the better players
Hey.
have more than one, but most of the other people have one.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's good that like you have that. That's so like,
Yeah.
very, very cool. Not everyone gets to say that, you know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that happened, and you know, it's an interesting experience. You just, you know, you play it twice. They ask
Right.
you, are there, was it a good run? You say, like, did you miss notes? If you did not miss notes, take a new run. Did you miss notes in the same place? And if you not, that's good. We'll fix it. And that's how it was.
Right.
So yeah, it's like, you know, you did twice, then they send you the takes, choose which ones you like the best, like sections, what sections you like more from each take,
Right.
and then they make like a combination of both.
Right.
So yeah, that's how that big
cool.
video happened.
And studying with Robert, like, how is it studying with Robert Vincice? What's it like studying with him?
It's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How so?
just the expectations were higher. Like the baseline was way higher. So like for him, the baseline would be almost performance ready,
Oh,
and
wow.
from there, like it would just try to get better.
And that wasn't the same as your other
No.
fiddle teacher.
No.
And did you have a hard time adjusting to that, or like?
Yes, but no.
Okay.
It was. I was just there.
You managed.
Yes, I managed to do
Right.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how that was.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So after your masters, did you do another year, like before coming to Toronto?
So in my masters, like, you know, you will start playing from, I don't know, 10 a.m. It would not stop until like midnight or 2 a.m. I will have rehearsals starting at 12,
Right.
like midnight, that will go all the way to 2 a.m. You know, there was just a lot of playing. Like, that's where I was practicing maybe like 6 hours a day, 6 to 8 hours a day, and rehearsing and doing all kinds of stuff. So, because I was pretty busy, the second year caught me off guard because I was playing way too many things and didn't have enough time to rehearse and practice my own personal music
Right.
for auditions. So once the second year at Peabody finished, I couldn't apply to anywhere else because I couldn't play anything.
Right.
So
you took an extra year to.
I ended up going back to Oberlin.
Really?
Yes.
Is it
for
like
2
an
years.
artist diploma kind of thing?
Yes. I was able to apply to that, and I was able to like enter. So I was there for 2 years.
Was it like just an application only, or did you have to audition at all?
It was an application with like an audition and
Okay.
everything.
And you were
but-
able to have something to
Yeah.
play. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was just like an extra year to prepare for.
It was 2 years. So
Right, an extra
it was
2 years.
Yeah, it was
And-
a year to prepare to like.
Go to DMA.
Yeah.
So how come you decided to do DMA? Because I know not every percussionist, like most percussionists do masters, but not everyone holds like a DMA. Like how come that was the route that you chose?
Well, part of me wants to teach at a university.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's, you know, this is one way of getting there.
Okay.
So that's how I applied to a DMA.
Right.
But I did not only apply to DMA programs. I applied to other professional programs when I was auditioning. in that
Professional as
section.
in like.
There is this group called like Ensemble Connect.
Okay.
It's
So
part
like
of the
chamber, like
yeah.
professional, like
Yes.
essentially like, would you call them like actively performing?
Yes.
Like chamber ensembles.
Yes. This Ensemble Connect is part of the Carnegie Hall Outreach Program.
Yes, I've heard of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I applied to it, didn't get in. COVID happened. A lot of things. Not many percussionists were.
Doing stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I applied to that. I also applied to some TA ships at Bard College, and I also applied to some other places for DMA. I don't remember.
But then you did apply to Toronto.
Yes.
I don't mean to skip over that Oberlin year, but was there actually? Yeah. Do you have anything special you want to say about
No,
that
not
time?
much.
It's just a bit like
I was there
more
like
just time for you essentially
preparing, yeah.
Right. So you chose Toronto.
Yeah.
Is that because you just wanted to work with IUN? Like, was that the reason?
No, that was just after a lot of thinking. Well, part of it, yes, but a lot of us thinking what do I wanted to do after.
And how come it was here over like anything else?
Because in the U.S., it's harder to do, as an international student, it's a lot harder to do music.
How come?
Because of the legal issues.
Oh, of like being able to work.
Being able to work.
That's interesting, but it's not as hard here.
No, they give you more options here.
I see.
In Canada.
And are you still considered an international student?
Yeah.
You never became a U.S. citizen, but you were there for like more than half a decade, right?
Like, I was like around 10 years almost.
Yeah, but you never just like became a citizen.
No, because I was under the student status. If I were there as a non-student, after 10 years I could apply as a permanent resident.
Right.
Not permanent resident, like maybe like I don't remember the term, but yes, could have applied to something like that.
Right. So you chose to come here. You finally got to work with IU, and so how was your time so far? And have you enjoyed like here? I mean, like the first year was weird.
Yeah.
But like since then,
it's been good. She has helped me a lot in like figuring out what is lacking in my professional experience, like as a musician.
So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to ask, because you're at that point in your musical education studies where like you're not going to school to kind of up your playing. You're kind of like you're upping your career essentially, right? So is that what like Ayun helps you out with like every time? But you still play for her.
I still play for her, but it's a matter of like how to improve my resume so that it looks like more professional, not as a student resume. Right.
And like
CV.
give you the opportunities and means to like get that like experience.
Yes.
Right. Cause like like your RTA, you've been my TA this year and last year for tutorials, and it's been like good work. Is that kind of like part of the experience for you?
Yeah, that's part of it. Like being able to say that you were a TA. Right. And have that kind of experience. That's part of.
And you've enjoyed it here, besides the work aspect, besides the professionalism aspect. Like, how have you enjoyed like this building, this ethos, since you've been here?
It's nice. It's nicer than Peabody for sure.
How come?
Peabody was old.
Really?
Yes.
Because people say this is very old too.
Yeah, but the only not good thing about this building is the size of the elevators. That don't
As in,
fit.
there's only like one elevator that fits like the max 9 people.
Yes. So besides that, everything else is good. Okay. I really like the vibe. I like this lobby a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like doing this here. Yeah. You know?
So yeah, it's I really like it.
Do you ever like plan on leaving Toronto after you're done your DMA degree, or do you plan on staying here?
Planned on staying, but that's still in the air. We'll see how it plans out. So
with all that, how would you describe your exact point of your career like right now?
Like, how would I describe it? Like,
yourself in your career.
What do you mean? Like, how would I describe myself?
In this point of your career.
I don't know. I'm still trying to learn how to get better.
Get better at like...
At everything. At playing, at
really?
Dealing with life. Yeah.
Interesting. So you wouldn't, like, have this... Because, like, I asked that because that was actually the first... I think that was the first question I asked Jacob in the first episode. And he was automatically, he had an answer. He was like, yeah, I'm taking professional auditions, I'm doing some professional work and stuff like that. Like, but you still feel like you're kind of in this progressional kind of stage in your career.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I would like to learn. And I wish, let's say, like, music schools would not make it so difficult for musicians to learn other like important skills,
right?
Like not just performing, like, because I feel like I got a lot of experience on just performing, but that's not what the whole life as a musician is,
right?
Like, I feel like you have to be able to learn how to properly record your music or something like that.
Mhm.
Like just little things to be able to survive.
Yeah,
Um,
not just like strictly like practice room.
Yeah, which
Technique.
you know,
Which isn't
the
a part
conser-
of it. Yeah.
the conservatories do that a lot. So
Mhm.
my education was very conservatory like.
Interesting.
So it was mainly focused on performing.
So this is like a very not very, but like a significant difference to basically all the years of musical education you've had.
Yeah, UFT is a lot more academic than everywhere else I went
Interesting.
before.
And do you enjoy that, or do you think it's kind of?
I see the good things of it. I don't enjoy it a lot, but it's something that I
Right.
need to learn how to do.
Right.
So yeah, that's
man.
where I am.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm still trying to get better at that. Like trying to like be the best I can as a performer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, the best. Just
The best you
never
can be in this musical world, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I also have other interests on like. At some point, I would have enjoyed doing a double degree when I was at Oberlin.
Mm-hmm.
I was very interested in computer science, but I never went over it.
Mm-hmm. And you think that there's a potential kind of you can dabble back in that kind of world?
Yeah, sounds like something that I still enjoy.
Nice.
That, like I would be interested in like learning more about, let's say, like music programming, kind of like, let's say, like the people who work at, let's say, Ableton, or the people that create Logic and that kind of stuff. Like they have to create virtual instruments. They're programmers, but they also have to know about music.
Right.
So that's something like interesting.
With this, nice. That's awesome.
But I don't know if I will ever go for it.
We'll see where it takes you. So I'm gonna start finishing this one up.
Yeah.
But I do wanna ask this final question. What are some personal goals that you have for yourself for 2023?
2023.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to become what I'm trying to do is apply it to as many things as possible, like
What do you
outside
mean?
school.
Like as in like just like summer programs and
Things that will
festivals?
like help me for like career. So like looking at conferences,
Oh, okay.
applying to just random jobs that I could
Nice.
find.
Nice.
Try auditioning. Just try exposing myself to
Good, man.
to the real world.
That's
So
awesome.
That's my plan. That's my goals for 2023.
Well, I wish you the best
Yeah.
for that. That's
Thank
great,
you.
man. Well, yeah, this is the end of this episode of the EJB Talk Show with Randall Chaves. This has been a very delightful conversation with you, Randall.
Thank
really,
you
really enjoyed having you
inviting
on. Of course,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, check out Randall. His Instagram is down below. Check out all the cool things he does and all the cool things he will do in this year. It's gonna be awesome. And yeah,
It'll be great.
all right. See you guys later in the next one. Peace.